Hello, and welcome. I am Web Weaver, and I'm so glad you have found my channel here today. This is where I do our weekly tarot reading for, let's see, this will be March 30th, 31st, April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. That's crazy. We're in April. Okay. So, as always, these readings are for entertainment purposes only, and I am using the Steampunk Tarot deck that was created by Barbara Moore and illustrated by Ali Fell. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here before I lose the light. I may end up having to turn a light on because I don't know that I'm going to beat the sunset, sadly. But we'll see. All right. Oh, I wish I had a bigger table that this would work on. But we are where we are. Let me see if I can raise you up just a little bit more so that you can see all the cards. Okay, hopefully that'll be better. We shall see. All right. What do we need to know for the week ahead? What's our message for this coming week? What do we need to know for the week ahead? What's our message for this coming week? What do we need to know for the week ahead? What's our message for this coming week? All right, we're going to stop there. And, okay, just wait to see how high I can go up on the thing here. So for Monday, we have the Star. All right. Give me 1 second while I turn on a light. Okay, I am back. Sorry, these cards are a little dark and the sun is setting. So we have the Star. Whenever I get the Star, I always think of wishing on a star, right? That's the way I tend to think of this card. And when you wish on a star, wishing on a star is hope, right? You're hoping for something. But the star can also be things like inspiration. You know, when you look at the stars and you get inspired, peace and serenity, healing, intuition, thinking of astrology and information. But the wishes granted and hope and peace is really what I go with there. So the phrase that the creators of this deck gave for this card is, "Hush, my darling, hush, have faith. I will light your way." So a very hopeful card to start out the week. Let's see where we go from here. We have the 10 of Pentacles. So Pentacles are the physical. They are earth, which is why you have the green in there. Tens tend to be something coming to an end, coming to fruition. So in this deck, you can see you've got, generally it means like the happy family. So you can see the husband, the wife, the kid, the dogs, with the tarot reader down here below, airships in the top. That is steampunk themed. But pentacles also have to do with financial aspects. Think of coins. A lot of decks call this coins instead of pentacles. So a successful ending, happy family, commitment, financial success, an abundant life. So the wording is, and they lived happily ever after, is the phrase. So that's a lovely card for Tuesday. I'll take the 10 of Pentacles for Tuesday. Let me just shift these cards here so that way you can see as I pull more. Here is Wednesday. We have the 2 of Wands. So wands are fire, and 2s tend to be about a balance or a decision, weighing your options. So when we look at the 2 of Wands, you can see the 2 fires burning there. This is a decision to be made. You might be hesitating over it. You can see the person standing there. Their face is kind of, I'm not sure which choice to make. I'm not sure which way I need to go. But this card can also be about your personal power, getting ready for change. You know, something is coming, and maybe you're like, ugh, I don't know if this is going to be good or if this is not going to be good, but it's a partial success. So it might be that discomfort of, okay, a change is coming and it's going to be at least somewhat beneficial, but that nervous feeling you get before that change, that might be what we're looking at here, or just a decision that needs to be made that's not easy. The phrase for this card is, a wielder of fire does not chant eeny, meeny, miny, mo. All right. So Thursday, we have the 5 of Wands. So the 5 of Wands, this is like a conflict. In one of my other decks, I think it's the Witches Tarot, they're actually like dragons that are fighting each other. So this card actually has to do with disagreement. It could be competition. It could be challenges. I believe in that deck, the authors had said it was like petty squabbling. You know, the bickering that happens like in a workplace. But this card, not only does the description tell us that there is a disagreement, there's some kind of challenge and the squabbling, but you just have to put a little bit of extra effort into problem solving and communication in order to fix it. So it's not a major conflict. It's not like, you know, going into war. It is, oh, I have a disagreement with someone. We really need to just pause, sit down, and talk about it to fix the situation. The phrase for this is, a little friendly competition never hurt anyone, right? So that's what we have here. For Friday, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So again, Pentacles being physical, could be financial. Oftentimes it's the coins. But the Queen of Pentacles, she looks very almost regal in that picture. I always think of Queen of Pentacles as like an Earth Mother. She's resourceful, trustworthy, down to earth, being the Earth Queen, right? She's someone who supports and nurtures the physical world, the resources, the finances, manages the home. So this may be someone in your life. Maybe there's somebody that you see on that day, or maybe these are actions you're taking on Friday. Maybe Friday's your day that you're going to be playing the role of homemaker, or helping someone emotionally through something, nurturing somebody. Maybe you're taking care of your resources on Friday. But the quote for this card is, let your inner light be reflected in the outer world. Loveliness is next to godliness. All right, so then we come to the weekend. Saturday, we have the Empress. All right, so the Empress, is also a very motherly figure. She's often seen seated, and it does appear that in this one she is also pregnant, like in other cards. So that creative life force. Another mothering mother goddess kind of card. But it's also abundance. Doesn't necessarily mean that you are pregnant with a child. It could be that you are pregnant with abundance of some sort, whether it be food or money or resources or what have you. The idea behind this card, I love that she's got the fire. So we have the fire in her hand. This is the creative life force. So birthing something new, but not necessarily physical birth, right? New ideas, new ways of thinking, new ways of doing things. This is that creative power. And that's what's going to bring abundance. So Saturday is a day to use your creative power to bring something into fruition. So the quote for this card is, were you looking for a mother figure? Okay. And then Sunday, we have the Chariot. So the Chariot to me is always dynamic forward motion. It's will and willpower. In a lot of the decks, the Charioteer, it doesn't even hold anything and yet controls the chariot by sheer will. In this card, she does actually have a very small handle there, but she's driving it one-handed while holding an umbrella, right? The willpower is what is carrying this chariot forward, and it is dynamic forward motion. It's that willpower. It can be a victory card. So something, being victorious in some way. If things are not quite, maybe you're on that chariot ride and it feels like it's out of control and you're like, oh my God, how is this going to work? This card is a message to not give up. Hang in there for the ride. The triumph of will overcome. You will overcome these difficult situations and circumstances. But it can indicate a victory just in general, or just that boom, dynamic forward motion. Here we go. So maybe whatever decision we make here eventually leads us forward. I'm not sure. All right, so that is our weekly reading for the upcoming week. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I will see you again on Sunday, April 5th. Blessed be.